In this video, we will show you how to replace your front door weather stripping on this Dodge Ram 1500. You'll have this on each side of the vehicle inside of your door jamb. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Obviously the seal makes its way all the way around the inside door area, but what we really want to pay attention to is down along the bottom. That's where you're going to find the beginning and end of your seal. Of course, you could just keep a mental note of approximately where it is, or you could use something that's easily removable. I'm just using a small crayon, and I'll make a light mark here. Now we have to start removing some trim pieces so we can remove that seal. As far as the lower panel, we're going to remove 4 Phillips head mounting screws. A quick inspection of that and we'll set it aside. After removing that panel, let's continue forward. We're going to be making our way to the kick panel. Now for this, I generally like to reach all the way up along the front. There's going to be a locking tab in here. If you were to just lightly flex this, pulling it rearward and inboard, it should pop out of place. Now we can slide this out of here. Let's have a look along the back side here. There's the locking tab that I spoke of. Now we can start removing the seal. If you need to, you could use a trim tool to gently separate this. One side's going to have the 2 ports, one side should have a port and also this locating tab, and that would fit directly in here. Now you can take one side or the other and continue on to removing it from inside the door jamb. There it is, friend. Before you install your brand new seal, we want to pay attention to the body of the vehicle where the seal will sit. Go ahead and clean it down and give it a thorough inspection. If it looks like it's rotted and flaking, that could be an area where you're going to have moisture make its way into the vehicle and you'd want to take care of it. I'm just going to use a rag with some cleaner on it, and we'll go ahead and wipe down the entire area before installation. Before I do the bottom where it's extremely dirty, I'm just going to make my way to the other side of the door jamb here. Now we're going to start installing our door seal here. When we do so, we're going to start at that point that we had marked along the bottom of the door jamb. And then you can make your way one way around or the other. But there is something we want to pay attention to as far as the door seal is concerned. This thinner area right here, where you can sort of see those little teeth in there, that's going to go along the ridge of the inside of the door jamb here. We also want to make sure that you have the squishy side of the seal up against where the door would be. So you need to have this going in the proper direction. Now I'm going to align that area. We'll start at the very beginning, work our way around. As I said, you can go whichever way you want. Before you continue on too far, you should try using a rubber mallet, tapping this down along the way. If you were to make your way around one of these corners, you may find that you leave a small air gap, but you continue on too far, you're not going to be able to close up that gap, and you'll find that you have to remove the seal to fill it in and then continue on reinstalling it. Now, as I said, especially around these corners, you want to pay close attention. Now let's pay attention up along this area. We do have our A-pillar trim panel. You want to make sure that you carefully pull that away from the door jamb. I'm just going to use a plastic trim tool for this, and generally a light flex is all you need. You do not need to fully remove this, but you do want to be extremely careful. Let's continue on pressing this up into position. Just keep pressing it in. This is another corner here, so we're paying close attention. Now, as we make our way down here, we're going to pause for a second because, as you can tell, we gave you a little extra on here. You want to double check to make sure you're completely seated all the way around before you end up trimming this. After going around confirming you're properly seated, we can continue on trimming this. Some people might try using a razor blade of some sort, but you want to be extremely careful because there is actually metal inside of this area. A razor blade really won't cut it. You could also try using some cutters, but typically that won't make a very straight cut. I like to use hose cutters. It seems to work fine for me. We'll continue on to properly aligning this and trimming it off. Just give ourselves a little bit extra here just in case. It's easier to trim some off if necessary. We'll dispose of that properly. Let's go ahead and get this in position. We're just going to slide this little tab in here. Start pressing this down. Now, as you press it down, if it seems like it wants to kink up like what you can see here, you just want to go ahead and trim it a little bit. I'm going to tap this down and see if we have a snug fit first. One last confirmation all the way around. It's time for installation of our trim panels. We'll start with the driver's side kick panel. You do remember we have the locking tab and one locating tab. We'll make sure that those fit directly into their corresponding areas and in behind the emergency brake lever. Generally for this, you're just going to have to wiggle it around a little bit. Everything should fit right into position, essentially really clip in. Now it's time for our door sill trim panel. As far as the rear of this, it's going to have a locating tab. And then of course we also have our 4 mounting screws making their way across. For those screws, generally I like to use a little bit of anti-seize on the tip there. That'll help just in case you want to remove this sometime in the future. Let's go ahead and try to get this lined up. Typically once you get the locating tab lined up, everything else should pretty much fall into place. Just press it right down and in. Now we can start in each of the mounting bolts and snug them up. Let's get this last one in here. Double check, make sure it's secured all the way across. Okay, friend, we finished the installation of our door seal. The next thing you want to do is just go ahead and test the functionality. Open the door a couple times, ensure the door functions as it should, and it seals. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.